Okay, hello everyone. I'm Robert, and I recently joined Elastic, working on the Kibana team, and just moved to Switzerland, so I can say things like "Grüezi miteinander" and order beer. So previously, I've worked in finance, machine learning, analytics, that sort of thing. Have any of you got any experience in these areas, like analytics, finance? Okay, cool. So uh, my realization during this work was that, well, as you know, doing quantitative finance, you invent or apply new methods, and then you have difficulty explaining it to other people who don't work with you on a daily basis. And communication is incredibly important, and so is some kind of a visual or a intuitive understanding of things. And well, this is why we have Kibana, uh, and Kibana Canvas gives us new opportunities. Um, So I've mostly worked in data visualization recently at Plotly and now at Elastic. Okay, so just on the question of what Kibana Canvas is and where does it fit in the Elastic stack. We used to call it ELK, but now it's just called Elastic Stack. Uh, it's part of XPack, and it's obviously part of Kibana as a new type of plugin, and it's part of XPack Basic. So it means the source code is you will be able to see the source code in the repo, and you can use it. And well, best to ask around about like what basic versus other licenses mean. So it's able to receive data and visualize data from directly from Elasticsearch, and it has multiple ways of asking Elasticsearch about data. So this is this little corner, and within that, Canvas is what we talk about. So XPack has a lot of other things as well. So some of the things you can do with it's actually red. Some of the things you can do with Kibana Canvas is to build freeform presentations and freeform visualizations, and we are still adding a lot of features that give more and more opportunities. So here in this example, we have some scatter plot of some data that I gathered, and we have a buffer. So it can be whatever data. In this case, the buffer is just simply give me the last 100 points from a search. We will come back to it soon. In fact, we could look at it now. So basically, the presentation that we are doing now is itself being presented from Kibana Canvas. So it's a bit like PowerPoint or any other tool you can entertain your audience. And well, while everybody dislikes PowerPoint, the thing is, not everyone works with the data as analyst or as someone who has intimate knowledge of all the fields and all the details, and often you have to present to higher levels in management, stakeholders, C-level executives, board, or often service level agreements or pre-sales efforts involve the creation of visualizations. Now the problem is that you, and I don't know, many of you might have had that experience. You take your data, build your charts or whatever, put it in Keynote, PowerPoint, and then it goes out of date. So then making it next time will be much less fun. So here the key point about this one is it just takes data from Elasticsearch. So if we change the data, which we will do it in a second. Well, okay, let me just ensure. Okay, so we can actually specify some kind of a refresh interval. Say this is in milliseconds, so it you shouldn't really go below like 1 second at the moment. So here it's basically just the, I don't know, the cursor. So I'm just capturing data essentially randomly. Well, oopsie, sorry. Wonder if it's working. No, it's something happened. So I'm gonna just refresh this page. Okay. So I think there's a bit of a lag due to recording and everything. So now I'm trying to make another shape. And then, yes, and then we have the last 100 points. And then here we have a buffer rate. If we just have fewer points, then that will be a lower value. So I'm just gonna make a few data points. Wow, 1%, 23%. So so you can have these widgets. So unlike with the dashboard, you aren't constrained to a tiling window system. And you aren't really constrained in terms of what you put up there. So I have to confess that while listening to the training, I also took some freely available SVG for the wine glass, and I mean this plot, you know, this plot has a huge problem. Can anyone identify what that problem is? Besides, well, it's red, but other than that. So the problem is that you aren't really supposed to fill your wine glass to the top. So here, I don't think the wine glass analogy really works. But there's a, interestingly, even since, you know, even arguably stupid and or cheesy ways of showing values and numbers can make your message more memorable. So there was actually some research on that, and if you put human shapes there, then the people will remember more of what your message is about. Or you or dinosaurs. The one study was about dinosaurs. Okay, let's continue. So, so some of what you saw is similar to other presentation software, but our, you know, if there's one takeaway, it's presentation software built on reliable and well curated and up-to-date real-time data, and that will like there's a bit of a guarantee of what you see is comparable to what you saw the previous time, say on a board meeting or something. I will show a couple of features of what you can do in editing, and then there are more features coming soon. So just again a comparison. We currently have Kibana dashboard in general availability, and you can see that it's fantastic for things like getting deep into the data and filtering and seeing it at a nice granular level and running operational dashboards. And then there are other types of visuals which you can't really put in some, you know, very specific category. Like this one, is it a map? Is it a data visualization? And this is Napoleon's March, where he tried to tried to successfully invade Russia and didn't manage, and this shows the story in some compelling ways. And compare it to a bar chart or a scatter plot, how much better this, something tailored like this one can do. So what are the things that it encodes? It encodes the number of people in the army, and also the geography of where they went. So they went, they went up to Moscow. Then they branched and then reunited, and some of the people, like you saw, it's visually striking that people were dying along the way. And here you see, although in an interesting inverted scale, that the temperature got lower and lower, and then there was a bit of a suffering here, then decided to turn back and being chased and being falling victim of food shortage, etc. So I don't remember. I think there are 6 or 7 variables encoded in this single thing, and we are definitely not there with Kibana Canvas. But the vision is to give more and more creative freedom to the makers. So it might be you, it might be a designer who works with you or works with elastic data. Okay, so because I had limited time preparing, I thought I'd reuse some of the slides, so I'm showing some slides twice. So for example, this one, this minimum. This one is, this is familiar. Say you want to somehow show, like you build this awesome stuff on the basis of Elastic and the stack and other components, and maybe you want to show it as some living, breathing thing to other people at the company. Or sometimes it could be your spouse. I don't know. It's I have difficulty explaining to my family as to like what I'm doing at work. So here, for example, there's beats going to logs going from beats to Elasticsearch, and this is a simple bar chart that has some styling, and I hid the annotations like the axis sticks, etc. We'll come back to it. We have a few more examples. So what I'm gonna do is I have a fantastic colleague, Alex Franker, who is a product manager of Cabana, and we have a few more things to see here. So you can go the infographic style, which means you use these humanly relatable shapes and you overlay data on that and keep it up to date. And you can also, here we are making the point again that we just design and build once and then run it on top of the changing data. It helps you or enables you to use corporate branding, fonts, logo, whatever, and even show off cute error messages if that's what you want. No idea. I honestly took Alex's presentation and installed it incorrectly. So. Yes, I don't know how you feel about key performance indicators. I don't comment on that one, but a lot of people like it. So here you get the smiley face and everything. So you can add various interactions like filtering or so you can build a bit of an exploratory aspect to that as well. Select select the site, whatever, and then we will talk about the way of querying, and this shows a new feature which is via SQL, and there's a wide there's a variety of inputs as to how we can get new data and what we have. So we will quickly go hands-on for a few minutes. And last in Alex's presentation, things that are coming up. Probably scheduled expressions are important. PDF is important. Then for designers, well, geography, of course, we should be big in that, and for designers, it's necessary to be able to work in a similar manner as in other familiar software. So, okay. So we have some links that we are gonna take a look. Also, time permitting. So there's a Canvas blog where that's where you should start. Rashid Khan, who is the original maker of Kibana, as Cabana grew, now it's a team of like 40 people who work on it, and Rashid is spearheading research and new development aspects in like, for example, timeline, and also he's heading the technical Canvas team, and he has a fantastic talk. So he is really doing a great job conveying what it's about, like why it's important. So I'll give you some links for installing Canvas. How much time do we have? So, okay. 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what we are gonna do is we are going to rewind. So I told you about this slide reuse. So what we will do is we will take a quick look at how this is made. So the most at the most basic level, it's a bit like other software. So you can grab things, move around, rotate, or delete, and then on the sidebar there's all the settings, so you can change the color if you want, and then often there is not specifically, or at least I don't see it here. Often there is more configurability, like CSS styling, that we will see an example for. You can import elements and small visual embellishments or whatever you want to show, and to give another example for that. Okay, yes. I'm gonna show you like this customer satisfaction face. If you look at it, it's like an image, but it's actually 2 images, and we will see why it's sometimes smiling and sometimes it doesn't. But first of all, quick walkthrough of the concepts. One is WorkPad. WorkPad is like a presentation or a report, and you can have one or many pages or slides in a WorkPad. And then on each slide you could have elements. So if you install it with the link I'm gonna give you for installing it, then here in the Cabana menu, you just come here to Canvas, click WorkPads and select Create One. In the pages, it's pretty much like what you expect. You can move them around or delete them. or copy them. And for elements, say you want to put on a new thing, like, I don't know, a pie chart, then you just hit it and I don't know what I did. Ah, come on. That went somewhere. Okay, well, we will see it on another slide. Maybe it's hidden behind some other element. And then maybe most importantly for us, well, besides the data source, which I'll show an example for, there is an expression language. So to be able to configure things that we haven't yet got a GUI for, or maybe that we will never have, there is a Canvas expression language. I will show some example for that one. Okay, I'm gonna exit the full page view. Okay, so this is the Canvas technology preview that I talked about. Well, so some interesting things happened to my tabs. Well, we will get back to it. So yeah, I'll get back to the expression language. So as you can see, this is not SQL. It's more like a pipe. It's a pipe language. Then going ahead. Okay, so here we actually have a data source, which is maybe more informative. So if well, the basic stuff is configurable on the sidebar, and things like styling, and not so basic stuff comes from the expression language. So here we specify ES docs, which is just get the Elasticsearch documents, specify the index count, etc. And then via the pipe language, you make the assignments of data to visual properties. And then when you have live data, you really don't change anything other than you have something like a count or something else that helps you select a time window or whatever your the area of interest is. So to show what you can do with it, say you want to arrange it in some other manner, like it's really slow because of the recording, or you can clone it and okay, clone, maybe make a slightly smaller one. And then here we will restrict the count to, I don't know, the last 8. Actually, it's better to switch off the auto refresh when manipulating. And then instead of, because this flows from beats to logstash, here in the query string, you instead of Elasticsearch, you just specify logstash and run it, and then you get other you get whatever data is on the server, and if you restart it, it will continue refreshing. Okay. So a quick view into some of the things we are working on is, for example, the layouting. So in the future, you would have these guidelines that will snap to whatever other objects or snap to a grid, or even things like grouping and keyboard action, like moving things with high precision with the keys, or operating on groups in basically three dimensions, if your design is such that it requires it, and group by, which would still make it possible to manipulate individual pieces if you want. Okay, so we are past. Yeah, let me see if anything in the links. Okay, I recommend Nadia Bremer, Shirley Wu, and Christina Such, and other data visualization professionals for inspiration of what you can do with data and custom design. And also Moritz Stefaner. He also has a great article on the types of things, no internet, sorry, on the types of things we can make, from dashboard and very analytic visualizations to artistic or convincing ones. There's a bunch of packages that we are open sourcing along the way. For example, TinyMath is being used in the expression language that we talked about to operate on various fields. And the Kibana Canvas expression language is migrating to Cabana, so there will be new visualizations that will make use of this facility. Okay. Okay, and finally, another takeaway is, on the scale of things, if you just never see or show your data, then you might be surprised what it hides, and you can make the experiment of having some interesting data and giving it in tabular form to some of your colleagues, and they won't find patterns very well. So, and then next stage is if someone tells you, make some visualization for it, and you go ahead and make some stuff, and that's the task is done. But then the real power comes from convincing others or yourself, or maybe questioning others and yourself, arguing and posing questions visually, and preferably, since we work with huge amounts of data, and more and generated in real time, companies and teams will thrive, which can incorporate visualization into our decision-making process. And the retina is part of our brain, so why not use its pattern matching capabilities? So that's in short. We will have links to share. There wasn't time for that, but there may be time for questions.